Coca-Cola. The mere mention of the name brings to mind its signature red and white branding, the iconic contour bottle, and a taste recognized across the world. But what if I told you that the world's most famous soft drink was originally created as a medicinal tonic, and that it once contained an ingredient now considered a dangerous drug? From its humble beginnings in a small Atlanta pharmacy to becoming a global empire worth over $250 billion, Coca-Cola's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. But how did a simple concoction meant to relieve headaches turn into one of the most consumed beverages in history? Today we unravel the incredible transformation of Coca-Cola, the controversies, the marketing genius, the global expansion, and how a failed experiment actually saved the brand. This is the untold story of Coca-Cola, the accidental invention that started it all. The story begins in 1886 in the bustling city of Atlanta, Georgia. The United States was going through a period of rapid industrialization, and many new medical tonics were being introduced, claiming to cure all sorts of ailments. One of the men experimenting with these so-called remedies was John Stith Pemberton, a former Confederate soldier turned pharmacist. Pemberton had been injured during the American Civil War, and like many veterans, he had developed a morphine addiction. Searching for a cure, he turned to chemistry, hoping to create a non-addictive pain reliever that could also serve as a general tonic. His inspiration? A popular French drink at the time called vin mariani, which was a mixture of Bordeaux wine and coca leaves, the same plant used to make cocaine. This wine-based tonic was marketed as a stimulant, known for giving drinkers an energy boost and even improving mood. Pemberton wanted to create something similar but unique. After numerous experiments, he developed a formula that combined coca leaves, cola nut extract, and carbonated water. He named it Pemberton's French Wine Coca. He marketed it as a health drink, claiming it could cure headaches, relieve fatigue, and even help with digestion. But just as Pemberton was preparing to sell his tonic on a larger scale, disaster struck. In 1886, the city of Atlanta passed prohibition laws, banning the sale of alcoholic beverages, including Pemberton's wine-based tonic. This forced him to reformulate his drink, removing the alcohol and instead increasing the sugar content to make it more palatable. Now he needed a new name for his non-alcoholic beverage. It was Pemberton's bookkeeper, Frank M. Robinson, who came up with the name Coca-Cola, inspired by its two main ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. Robinson also designed the now famous Coca-Cola script logo, which remains virtually unchanged today. On May 8, 1886, Coca-Cola was officially sold for the first time at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta. A single glass cost just 5 cents, and in its first year, the company sold an average of 9 drinks per day. Little did Pemberton know that he had just created what would become the most recognized soft drink in history. The struggles and the birth of a giant. Despite his invention's growing popularity, Pemberton never lived to see Coca-Cola's true success. Suffering from poor health and financial difficulties, he began selling portions of his business to different investors. In 1888, just 2 years after inventing Coca-Cola, Pemberton passed away. His son, Charlie Pemberton, inherited his father's remaining shares but lacked the business acumen to run the company. That's when a shrewd businessman named Asa Candler entered the picture. Candler had already purchased a stake in the company, but after Pemberton's death, he quickly bought out all remaining shares, gaining full control of Coca-Cola for a total of $2,300, a sum that would be worth only about $75,000 today. With full ownership, Candler embarked on an ambitious marketing campaign. He gave away free coupons, distributed branded merchandise, and ensured Coca-Cola was available in every soda fountain across America. By the turn of the century, Coca-Cola had expanded beyond Atlanta and was now being sold in every U.S. state. But there was one major issue. It was only available at soda fountains. Candler needed a solution that would allow Coca-Cola to be sold in stores and taken home by consumers. That solution came in 1899 when 2 businessmen from Chattanooga, Tennessee, approached Candler with a proposal: bottling Coca-Cola. At first, Candler was skeptical. He believed soda fountains were the future and didn't see the value in bottling the drink. But in what would later be considered one of the worst business decisions in history, he sold exclusive bottling rights for just $1. That's right, $1. This move turned out to be a golden opportunity for the bottling industry, allowing Coca-Cola to be mass-produced and shipped worldwide. By the early 1900s, Coca-Cola was being bottled across the country and demand skyrocketed. But the company faced a growing concern: the cocaine content in its formula. The cocaine controversy. In the late 19th century, cocaine was widely used in medicines, tonics, and even soft drinks. However, by the early 20th century, concerns over its addictive properties began to rise. With increasing pressure from health officials and the government, Coca-Cola made a critical decision. They removed the active cocaine from their formula, replacing it with a decocainized coca leaf extract. By 1929, Coca-Cola was completely cocaine-free, though rumors persisted for decades that the drink still contained traces of the drug. World War II and global domination. Coca-Cola's expansion continued through World War II, when it became a symbol of American culture. The company promised that every U.S. soldier stationed abroad would be able to purchase a Coke for just 5 cents, no matter where they were. This move not only boosted morale among troops, but also introduced Coca-Cola to international markets. After the war, demand for Coca-Cola exploded in Europe, Asia, and beyond. By the 1950s and 60s, Coca-Cola had established itself as a global brand. It was no longer just an American drink, it was a worldwide phenomenon. The Cola Wars and the new Coke disaster. Coca-Cola's biggest rival, Pepsi, emerged as a serious competitor in the mid-20th century. The Pepsi challenge in the 1980s suggested that consumers preferred the sweeter taste of Pepsi over Coca-Cola. In response, Coca-Cola made a bold move. They changed the original formula. The launch of New Coke in 1985 was meant to counter Pepsi's rise, but it backfired horribly. Consumers hated the new taste, and after intense backlash, Coca-Cola was forced to bring back the original formula as Coca-Cola Classic. Ironically, the failure of New Coke actually boosted sales, proving just how much consumers loved the original recipe. Today, Coca-Cola is the largest beverage company in the world, selling over 1.9 billion drinks per day in over 200 countries. It has survived wars, economic crises, and health controversies. But through branding, marketing, and innovation, it remains the undisputed king of soft drinks. From a small medicinal tonic to a $250 billion empire, Coca-Cola's story is one of ambition, marketing brilliance, and a little bit of luck. And it all started with a struggling pharmacist and a 5-cent glass of soda.